If you're a fan of horror, then you need to hear about Emily's last visit to the house on Elm Street. This isn't just any ordinary haunted house story. It's one that will chill you to the bone and make you question the very nature of reality. Emily's tale is a cautionary one, a reminder that some places are better left undisturbed. Emily inherited a decrepit Victorian house from her grandmother. The house had been in the family for generations, but it had fallen into disrepair over the years. Emily had always heard stories about the house, tales of strange noises and eerie occurrences, but she had never believed them. She thought they were just stories to scare children. It was full of creaks and shadows, a place she despised. But duty called. She felt a sense of obligation to her family, a need to preserve the legacy of the house. Little did she know the house had its own plans for her. On her first night, she found an old, grimy mirror in the attic. The attic was a place of forgotten memories, filled with old furniture and dusty relics from the past. The mirror stood out, its surface covered in grime and dust, as if it hadn't been touched in years. As she wiped it clean, her reflection seemed off, darker. It was as if the mirror was showing her a version of herself that she didn't recognize, a version that was twisted and distorted. She felt a chill run down her spine, but she brushed it off as her imagination. Twisted. The word echoed in her mind, but she tried to ignore it. She told herself that it was just a trick of the light, a result of the dust and grime on the mirror. But deep down, she knew something was wrong. The next night, whispers lured her back to the attic. The mirror beckoned. She felt a strange compulsion to return, as if the mirror was calling to her. The whispers were faint at first, barely audible, but they grew louder as she approached the attic. This time, the reflection showed a dark, oppressive room. It was a room she didn't recognize, a place that seemed to exist outside of time and space. The air was thick with a sense of dread, and she felt a growing sense of unease. A figure lurked in the shadows. It was barely visible, a dark shape that seemed to blend into the darkness. She couldn't make out any details, but she could feel its presence. It was watching her, waiting for her to make a move. She felt a cold breath on her neck. It was as if someone was standing right behind her, breathing down her neck. She spun around, but there was no one there. The room was empty, but the feeling of being watched remained. The whispers grew louder, turning into a cacophony of voices. They were all around her, filling the room with their eerie, disembodied sounds. She couldn't make out what they were saying, but she knew they were speaking to her. They were trying to tell her something, but she couldn't understand. The air turned icy. It was as if the temperature had dropped suddenly and she could see her breath in the air. The cold seemed to seep into her bones, and she felt a growing sense of dread. She knew she had to get out of there, but she couldn't move. Doors wouldn't open, and the stairs stretched endlessly. It was as if the house was trying to trap her, to keep her from leaving. She felt a growing sense of panic, but she forced herself to stay calm. She knew she had to find a way out, but every door she tried was locked, and the stairs seemed to go on forever. Desperate, Emily confronted the mirror again. She felt a strange compulsion to return to the attic, to face the mirror once more. She didn't know why, but she felt that the mirror held the key to her escape. She had to confront whatever was lurking in the shadows, to face her fears head on. The figure was right against the glass, its face a ghastly grin. It was as if the figure had been waiting for her, biding its time until she returned. Its face was twisted and distorted, a grotesque parody of a human face. She felt a wave of terror wash over her, but she forced herself to stay calm. Her own reflection distorted, melding with the figures. It was as if the mirror was trying to merge their souls, to trap her inside its glassy surface. She felt a strange pull, as if she was being drawn into the mirror. She fought against it, but the pull was too strong. Then the mirror shattered with a deafening crash. The sound was so loud that it seemed to shake the very foundations of the house. The shards of glass flew in all directions, and she felt a sharp pain as one of them cut her cheek. But the pain was a welcome relief, a sign that she was still alive. The whispers stopped. The room fell silent and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. She felt a sense of relief, but also a lingering sense of unease. She knew that the danger wasn't over, that the house still held many secrets. Emily fled the house, never looking back. She ran as fast as she could, not stopping until she was far away from the house. She didn't know where she was going, but she knew she had to get away. She felt a sense of freedom, but also a lingering sense of dread. Years later, new owners reported strange occurrences, whispers, cold spots, and that cursed mirror. The house had changed hands many times, but the strange occurrences continued. The new owners reported hearing whispers in the night, feeling cold spots in the house, and seeing strange reflections in the mirror. They didn't know what to make of it, but they knew that something was wrong. No one ever discovered what happened to Emily. She disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only her story. Some say she was taken by the figure in the mirror, others say she fled to escape its grasp. But no one knows for sure. Legend has it the figure in the mirror was waiting for someone to take its place. Listen closely, and you might still hear Emily's voice trapped in the glass, begging for release. The house on Elm Street remains a place of mystery and dread, a place where the past and present collide. If you ever find yourself near that old Victorian house, remember Emily's story and think twice before you enter. And you might still hear Emily's voice trapped in the glass, begging for release. The mirror remains a silent witness to the horrors that took place, a reminder of the darkness that lurks within. So, if you ever come across an old, dusty mirror, be careful, guy. You never know what might be lurking on the other side.